Welcome to this special episode sponsored by Nexus, the AI Hub. I am Wildred Brown Jr., and I'm joined with a wonderful human being and fellow veteran in the AI space, Diana Hernandez. But before we go into this AI talk and just try to catch up on what all the latest stuff has been going on, who is Diana? And tell the audience, like, what led you to what you're currently doing with AI, and just give us the whole spill.
Well, to start, let's see where I start. I usually start with I was born in Roswell, New Mexico from immigrant parents. They immigrated from Mexico. And so that for me kind of put me in the middle of communications. Um, so growing up, I was always the communicator between my parents. That drove my interest in communications. I got my degree at Purdue Global University in the science of communication. And because I love the field and how people interact and all that, I saw a lot of barriers with people just getting like thoughts out of their head. And I'm a very creative person. And so sometimes I don't have the tools to help me express that creativity. So when you're in comms, your tools are not like a paintbrush, like an artist. Your tools are like communication softwares, and so those are awesome. And so I went on to study new media journalism at Full Sail University because I really love the intersection of new media and journalism. So how people share their stories. And on that, I needed to figure out and hone down a beat. What am I going to focus my content on? What is something I'm really passionate about? And it was tools, new media tools, and how people are using them and integrating them with their missions, with their calls, with their purpose. And then something happened in the new media industry. AI. AI happened. And it is revolutionizing everything. And I like to call it the new pandemic. And so thus was born my love for AI. And I am so passionate about it. I found some and bought and invested in some of my own softwares. And it is just great. I love AI. Just because it helps creative people. It's a tool, and it just helps them express what they have inside. So yeah.
Yeah, the world of AI, I feel like it just disrupted like everybody. Like it stopped like what you were doing. Well, for some people, it stopped what you were doing, and you said like, "Oh no, I need to like just focus on this and like learn and like study it and whatnot." Um, and that's like very interesting because you touched on like a note that I usually tell people like I like to use all these AI tools as an outlet to express like my creativity.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've always wanted to draw and like, just make like comics and stuff like that. But I never had the mentor or the skills. But like with AI, I can now draw like whatever I want using things like Midjourney. So like it's just so like my mind just gets so fired up when I'm all, like just talking to somebody that's in the AI space because and we're going to talk about this in the next topic because for me when I first seen AI, I just knew like this was like groundbreaking technology. Like I need to do whatever I need to do to like learn about this and use it in like my field, like for my clients, for like all this stuff. So we obviously see AI this way. Like we're all fired up. We can, do several podcast episodes talking about just how much in love we are with AI. But in your experience in the workplace, how has AI been received? Would you say?
I in my work setting, I work for a health department. Actually help a district. So it's like 7 health departments. And I help them with their comms needs. And we're under the umbrella of the Oklahoma State Department of Health. And we are going to be the pilot program on switching from paper to electronic. And a lot of people are like uneasy about it. And Commissioner Keith Reed was in a town hall, and that was touched about possible job loss because when people think of technology, there is that concern for job loss, and he says that no. And I think in the work setting that I am now, change kind of brings fear. And though even Commissioner Keith Reed thought that that is probably way down the line, and we're years from that. And I do agree with him on that. I do believe that that's way down the line, but I do believe that maybe some individuals are not really like open arms embracing it, but I do think it's necessary for them to at least be aware of these changes, because they're going to happen, they are happening, and they're going to happen at an accelerated rate. Because of the place that I like to refer people to is ai.gov. The US, the federal government, has already like created initiatives and to transition our society to AI. So it's going to happen.
Man. Yeah, I feel like it's happening almost in every industry. And like at this point, like you're just gonna get left behind if you're not like just paying attention and being aware of just what you could do with it. Because like in my experience, because I'm a content creator, and the general census is a lot of people are afraid. Like a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people, watch Terminator 1,000 times. And, their first thought is to think like, oh my God, these robots are going to come and take over us. And, they're going to take our jobs along with us. But I really try, each and every day to educate people. Like look, let's deal with what we have today, right? Today we can use so many different applications to help us do so many different things. And I would say a lot of it is due to some of the media, because, on the sides where you hear, people talking about losing their jobs with AI, on the other side, you hear people hearing for the first time using AI. So life is literally just like, I like to look at it as like a two-sided coin. There's good and bad with anything, but ultimately it's the controller of these technologies, so I don't know. That's why we're here to educate people. That's why we're here to just continue to spread the good word and the good message. But I was literally at a digital marketing conference, and I couldn't believe in like, I really couldn't understand how people didn't like take this serious. There are like people with roles like digital marketers, right? And just like data entry, and they have no idea what's going on, right? Like I don't understand it. Like I just like, I guess it's just us and people that are watching the podcast that we're the people that see the vision and understand what's going on. So I don't know. It's just mind blowing to me. It really is. So
I think because of that, they just haven't experienced it firsthand. Because I've you have to make it relatable. And I remember me talking actually to my supervisor, and she was talking about something, and I mentioned ChatGPT, and she's like, "What is that?" So we were on live, and we were on video actually, and I said, "Okay, just pull it up on your browser right now." I'm like, "You have to create an account. It's easy." So she did. She's like, "Okay, I'm in there. What next?" I said, "Okay, now take that paper that you were writing for school and just put it in there and ask for it to review it for you." She's like, "Okay." Copy and pasted all that. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh my God, it's already starting to generate something." I was like, "You're welcome. The power of ChatGPT." And she was blown away. She was blown away. And it's just that making that connection. How does it relate to me? And I think some people get tunnel vision, and they stick to what works, and if it's not broken, don't fix
Mm,
it. So
yeah.
for them, it's like, you know, it's not a necessity right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why.
Uh, yeah. But that's good on you for like even just showing your friend like stuff like that because like I try to encourage people and like even on my channel, I try to tell people, but I know just like you said, sometimes you have to sit people down and say, okay, let's do this step by step. So now you can
Yeah.
feel and see it for your own self versus just
Yeah.
going on like what you see in the headlines. So, we got a lot
Yeah.
of work to do, we got a lot of work to do, but I love it. I enjoy it. Like every time there's
I
something new
do.
that comes out, I'm like, oh my God, but what is it about? Like I need to like learn about it. So I think you just have to be a learner at the end of the day to really just appreciate all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, definitely have to be a life learner because there are a lot of curveballs when it comes to AI, and there are a lot of softwares that have integrated AI into their softwares. So if you don't understand like the basic foundation of what an AI is, it's constantly learning,
Hmm.
and that that's something that you have to like understand. Then you can, because it gets better. So if you take, for instance, ChatGPT, it's constantly learning. So you put in something, I was like, oh, it doesn't work. I was like, but if you keep putting something every day, I was like,
Hmm.
it'll learn, and the quality of the content is more higher quality. So, yeah.
Yeah. Over time, like what I tell people along with what you said is it gives you what you give it, right? So if you write
Yeah.
a sentence, it's going to give you a sentence or two sentences. But if you give it a detailed paragraph on what you want, even a page, who knows? Like it can give you so much based on like what you give it. So you just really
Yeah.
have to, like you said, take that time once a day to let me get inside of ChatGPT. Let me get inside of Google Bard. Let me just actually use it because like none of us are the master of these tools. We just happen
Yeah.
to been using them, over time. So I just encourage people to just really just try and get behind it and try to learn. So
Yeah.
um one thing I hate when I'm watching AI podcasts and I'm just, hearing people talk about AI is they talk about all the best AI tools, the platforms, and just this, that. But I want to talk about some of the actual like use cases that you're using AI for in your day-to-day life, just so people can understand, like you said, what is some of the things that you would use AI on a day-to-day basis for?
Well, something that I just stumbled upon and I love it. I love it so much. It's called Cast Magic. It's a
Hmm.
software that integrated AI into it, and it for podcasters or for even doctors who need to transcribe their notes, for
Hmm.
journalists who need um, to transcribe their audio files when they do an interview, or
Okay.
for any content creator. So sometimes people are more verbal people instead of like writing things down.
Yeah.
And so you hop on camera and you just spilling out stuff, because I knew a friend who was really great on camera, and everything he would say it live and it was great. But if you try to prep him before, like, it was hard. So he was more of the impromptu type of person. So that's great content. That's You
Hmm.
can create so much from that, from blog posts to even articles to even an ebook. Some people who write, they record it and then they transcribe it. So that job may be going away very quickly, the transcriber job. So Cast Magic is the software. So you upload an audio. It can be an audio directly from your computer or from YouTube, but it will transcribe everything and it will do it in 3 minutes or less. And the accuracy is on point. And not only that, these are show notes. It creates multiple things from this audio: show notes, summaries, and my favorite is social content. Um,
Mm.
if you want to post this podcast on Twitter. It already summarized everything and it created a tweet for you so that you can
Wow.
just share it on Twitter with that recommended suggestions tweet and the tags. It auto generates the tag. And it's really neat because it will pick up the differences in the voices. So you
Oh,
tell it this sentence, like this is me, and then it'll align all the notes with your name. That's who you're speaking, and whoever your guest is this voice. So it's really
wow.
smart, and that's my favorite one because
Nice.
I have a boyfriend who is hearing impaired, so he has a cochlear implant, and sometimes
Mm,
he gets tired of wearing it, so
mm-hmm,
he's uh, likes the captions on when the TV is on.
mm-hmm,
He likes to read a lot. And so for
mm,
podcasts, that can be a barrier for someone
yeah.
who may not be able to hear. But when
Mm-hmm,
your podcast is coupled with the notes, the transcription of it, it is such a great tool to be more inclusive to people who may not have the ability to listen. So
mm-hmm.
Cast Magic, it's on point. That's
Nice,
my favorite
nice.
one. Another one is Curtoria, and what that does is that it is constantly scanning for the
Mm,
up to date news articles on a related subject. So my
mm,
related subject that I put in there is AI. So every day it will pop up and bring to me everything that related to that topic. And
mm.
it's also a social media sharing platform. If I want to, I can add a different picture. It'll auto generate a description of the article. It would already scan it and create a prompt for
Wow.
Facebook, for LinkedIn, for Twitter. And so if I want to post it as is, I'll go ahead and just share it. And so that those are, some things that AI has pleased me with recently.
Man, we got our AI plug here, Diana, man, just plugging us in with all the AI gems. I don't even got us talk about my AI that I got because Diana just gave us a whole bunch of homework to do on these tools. So we good. But no, um I'm gonna go to the basics. Because we talking this advanced AI talk right now, but some people are still, coming across Chat GBT and Google Bard for the first time. So like those two are my favorite thus far. And I've honestly been using Google Bard more daily just to get like how
Oh,
you said
really?
earlier, I use it to literally summarize the news in AI today, right? I use it to,
Yeah.
summarize the latest moves in the stock market today. I ask it stuff
Mhm.
like, give me give me the best
Yeah.
tips for social media currently, to like I like
Yeah.
to like just test it and like ask it different stuff. And ChatGPT, I know it's rolling out internet access to its free members as well. The paid members are able to browse ChatGPT with the internet, but Google Bard is completely free and you have access to the internet. So what I tell people today is like use a combination of ChatGPT and Google Bard because it's not ChatGPT versus Google Bard. It's how can I use both, together for different things. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely like for my beginners, if you want to, take some baby steps and tiptoe in AI, ChatGPT, Google Bard, and we'll get the links and put them in the description for the tools that Diana the Goat listed. And thank you for sharing as well. She could have kept these gems to herself, but she decided to share them. So thank you, Diana the Goat. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the future of AI. What do you think? Well, it's kind of an interesting question because we're living in the future right now, right? I feel like this is like the
Mhm.
most futuristic we could have ever thought, other than like the metaverse stuff. I don't feel like we've seen that yet. But like with AI, we're just doing so many different things, right? So when I talk about the future of AI, I mainly want to like know just your perspective on how do you think society will perceive AI in the future? Do you think we will eventually just, okay, let's all figure it out? Or do you think we're at that point where too many people are just, doing too many different things and it's going to be a huge divide?
Even though AI is kind of exploding,
Hmm.
it is not integrated enough into
Hmm.
our daily life. So that's
Hmm.
why most people are like, I'm not going to mess with it. Um,
Hmm.
doesn't affect me, doesn't concern me. But I think it's going to come in waves.
Mm.
Because it's already set in stone that the U.S. government has already started implementing some of this stuff, even in the military,
Hmm.
even the FDA, the healthcare. There are some things that they're slowly rolling out with AI, but I believe AI, we will be as dependent on AI as we are to our cell phones.
Mm.
Um, we used to, well, when I was young, be able to memorize all the numbers to my family
Yeah.
members,
Yep.
and know the number to this and that place. But now there is no need for that because we have a phone that does that for us.
Yeah.
And now we have desktops, laptops, even phones that will remember our passwords for us.
Hmm.
And I think it will get to a point that AI will do so much for us that we won't have a need to do certain things. Um,
Mm.
I feel like it's going to be an adoption more for Gen Zs. I feel like it's going
Mm.
to be an easier adoption when it comes to Gen Zs than it does for
Hmm.
baby boomers.
Yep.
Even some millennials are kind of like, eh. But Gen Zs are so for the metaverse,
Yeah.
technology, AI. They're in it. I mean, you give a 5-year-old your phone, they can figure stuff out faster than you
Oh
can.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
it, so I feel like it's going to be heavily integrated
Hmm.
with the Gen Z population. So yeah.
Mm. And
But
just give. Oh, go ahead.
no, what are your thoughts on it? Actually, I'm curious.
Um, I honestly think like we're in the early stages of AI. So while I feel like you do have an advantage of listening to this podcast or watching it and just hearing, me and Diana, just give you guys these gems. I think, like you said, eventually it will become seamless, right? Because here's the biggest thing that I'm watching, like in the AI space, and I can't wait to see like them do something. I'm so ready for Apple to launch whatever they're gonna launch, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be something AI incorporated. Like they've been hinting at it and stuff. They've been like they literally been waiting and seeing what everybody else has done. And I feel like when they launch their glasses or the next, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So I think, while Chat GPT might have the lead and Google Bard might have the lead in the AI race, I honestly believe if Apple decides to do anything AI, I don't even know if we're having this conversation. I think, maybe in the future we're talking about alpha AI, that's the new thing, like so I don't think I don't think most people will get left behind just because I think, like you said earlier, it will become more accessible. But I feel like the early adapters are definitely going to reap
Mhm.
all the rewards, from being able
Yes.
to see it, being able to see like the
Yeah.
full picture, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I actually believe that the early adopters would be able to pick up on scams because
Yeah.
if you know your AI and you know what the potential dangers of AI, and somebody calls you and somebody else's voice, you're already going to have that knowledge to know that AI can replicate somebody's voice, and you're going to be able to carry that conversation differently and kind of have a little bit more critical thinking underneath your belt, versus somebody who has no idea what AI is and they're more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you said it, you hit it right on the nail. Like as far as like AI scams, like they're like, I think it was the other day there was a fake image of the Pentagon being caught on fire. I think somebody made it in Midjourney, and that picture alone went viral, and it affected the stock market. So like it is a lot of stuff just going on. And actually that kind of ties into like what we're gonna do before we end. Just a quick hit, just the reactions to some of the biggest news in AI. Obviously that was one. But there was a poll that came out that said 6 in 10 people are afraid of AI. And it's interesting because another article right next to it said big name investors are going all in on AI. So that kind of shows you, you know, the balance of where the world is. And that's why, like on my channel, I try to encourage everybody to like, look, we gotta really read like beneath the headlines. You know, like while everyone is afraid, you got the biggest companies investing in this software and this technology. Like, what are your like quick thoughts about that?
Yes. So by I believe the year was 2025 or 2027, the AI industry will be worth over $200 billion. So if you see that projection, if you're a company, you're going to invest in AI. And actually, the United States is the leading nation who invests in AI. We are at
Wow.
56% leading. And so, yeah, that's why I strongly believe that it's going to happen, and it's going to completely be integrated. But I do believe it's going to enhance life. I do believe that it's going to be more catered and tailored to people's life, because I think that's what we kind of want. For example, I have a different body type than the next person. So if I need something and maybe I don't feel comfortable with human interaction, and sadly, when it comes to communication, that transactional communication, person to person, is fading away. So because of social media and because of digital media, it's supposed to connect us more, but people usually find it harder to connect than they would if they were share proximity together and be more transactional real time. So if I don't have those social skills, I'm not probably prone to go to a fitness trainer. I'll probably use an AI app. And mind you, I went through an AI app for fitness training. Is probably what had the idea. It was so good. Like it'll ask you detailed questions, and at the very end, it'll tell you body mass and then tell you your price. But it was really neat, because then people have their fitness trainer in their pocket. They have their recipes, chef recipes in their pocket. And I think it's that accessibility. I told my sister once when she commented, "Why are convenience stores so expensive?" And I said, "Because they're accessible, like they're convenient, and people want that convenience. So if you have it in your pocket, it's over, game over." So yeah.
Game over. Game over. Man, Diana just been giving us all kind of gems on the podcast. We got to have you on as a co-guest, or something, because you just giving us the gems. We love and appreciate it. Tell us all, what are you working on? Where can we check you out? And just give it to us all, because you're blessing us right now. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Well, right now, my goal is to finish grad school. I have a month left, and so I'm just like, eye on the prize at this point. But you can find me at dianahernandezz.com, and you can find my content. And you can reach out to me on there. You can also find all my socials on there. Yeah.
Awesome. In closing, I want to thank you, Diana, for joining us for this very informative, gem-filled episode. And I encourage everybody to, like we discussed in this podcast, like look beneath the headlines, like stop being afraid. It's okay. We're here to help you and guide you through this crazy AI revolution. And make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, all the YouTube, TikTok-y stuff that you're supposed to do. And catch us in the next episode. Thank you again, Diana. And we'll check you out guys later.